Hello everybody and welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and today we're going to look at Boston churches and churches all around Massachusetts, starting with this one, the most amazing one, the Trinity Church. This one is right near Newbury Street, right off Boylston, and it is a legend. And so a lot of things will stem from this, but I want to show you that a big collection that I found on Wikipedia is over 100 churches, almost 300 pictures in this video. And I want you to keep stuff like this in mind. Medieval stone churches in Finland. Between the 13th and 16th century, over 104 were there, 83 which still exist because they're made of stone. But most of them, they said, in that between the 13th and 16th centuries. And the churches look like that one down there, and they look like a lot that you'll see in Massachusetts, which all come from between the 1800s and 1900s. So very interesting. Keep that in mind, because a lot of these places, if they were anywhere else, would be way older. So that was a little history of the Trinity Church, but here is some pictures, and this one's from the 1600s, but this is the old one. Look at that. Look at how old that was and what that purpose was for. This one, the construction, that's all they have of the construction. Never do you see any of these things being put stone by stone, or the collection, into almost all of them seem to go underground. A little mud flood action. This is the interior, which is beautiful. And again, you can't design just a bunch of stone bricks and put them together like Legos and have an interior like this. You need geniuses at work. This stuff is mastery of architecture. And just look at it, 1900, amazing. The building in the background was unreal too. All the buildings of this area were unreal. Now they're just made out of glass, and they look useless. But this thing is also covered in sculptures like this, and wow, I recommend you check out the Trinity Church. But these ones now are in alphabetical order, and look at these. When you see them all in a collection like this, you really get a totally different idea. Like, look at this stonework, and all of them have the same story, architectural thing. A lot of them were designed by that Keeley guy, but a lot of them are like, there was a contest, the architects, blah blah blah, the congregation was founded 20 plus years before, and then it was built in these couple years. But look at this stuff. Look at this stonework here. This stuff is amazing, and these stones are smooth as silk on the outside, connected in perfect. Look at this. Boom. So many things in Massachusetts, in this area, that could be aged so much differently and could have a story that we don't know. And it seems like the more you look at these, I had to do these quick to show the pictures quick because there's so many. But the more I recommend you freeze on some of them and check out some of the information, because they all have unique little stories connected to them. There's always different kinds of styles that are being used: Romanesque, Normanesque, Old Gothic, New Gothic, all this stuff, almost as if, again, I think they were all repurposed. I think some of them were houses at different points for maybe royalty or different parts of the kingdom that was here a long time ago or whatnot. But again, the story we're told does not seem to be correct. And also, I noticed a few different things about how white seems to be the dominant color in the ones that are not made of stone, which when you go to Russia and things, you see things differently. But look at this. Look at these towers all over the place. A lot of them too, you'll see some towers that look incomplete. Those are all over the place. And I drive by churches all the time, none of which are in here. None of these were in Brockton. None of these were in Walpole or Norwood, which I drive by all the time, and there's more. So this list is but a fraction of the ones just in Massachusetts. And look at that. Boom. Top replaced. Inside perfect. Immaculate. These structures at one point were built to last. And I also while I included most of the really cool ones in here, I also included some of the ones that were a little more simple and a little more relevant to the time. Look at this. Like, that was not created in 1866. There's no way. And again, there would have to be church construction companies all over, because this is just Massachusetts, and the amount of construction that was occurring in the mid 1800s was ridiculous. Almost all of these are from that time, and so there must have been construction everywhere. Every single speck of the place must have been in construction. And look at the different styles. A lot of these in the modern pictures, you could see that they've been a little bit redone, but ones like this can't be. They've remained the same. And look at this stonework there. You see stones like that all over the place. So strong, built perfect, with no electronics, no cranes, no nothing to do this. It just doesn't make any sense. That one was in my neighborhood at one point. But look at all these. They are astounding. And again, definitely check out some of the stories of the ones you are very curious about. But look at the stonework. All these different things you see in different places. There's a little bit of mortar in there. They may have added mortar in some places to make it whatever, a little tougher, or in general, just they're perfect. They're placed perfectly together. And these aren't just walls. They're things with elaborate interiors as well. And look at those. Like, how do you even piece together rocks into that perfect shape without like a lot of planning and etc.? And if they were all in the times when there was some film existing, there wasn't even engravings of any of these constructions happening. So some of these that you'll see I included that are a little bit newer and are possible to have been built during our timeline in the way they say, but most of them I really would definitely question. And again, look at them. What that roof is itself amazing. Look at this one. Again, you'd find this all over in Europe. And this is Newbury Street. This is a really big one, really famous, really popular, kind of right next to that Trinity Church. And in that whole area of Newbury Street and Trinity Church are about 6 or 7 old churches, really, really old, amidst buildings that stretch for almost miles. They're just huge interconnected buildings that are awesome, great architecture, great symbols. I will be doing some boots on the ground this summer and spring when it gets warm, taking my camera out and getting some pictures. So I wanted to prep you all with a little bit of this. But look at these. Look at the size of these things. And you can tell that had an addition onto it. But the rest of it, the tower, is, again, amazing. And what are these towers for? I know a lot of them definitely had bells. One of them talks about having a really old, a lot of them talk about having old bells within them. But astounding architecture. And look at the tiling on that. Amazing detail. That's probably the original tiling. So that's the thing that's different. Where they were saying even in the Finland that a lot of those, that clip that I showed from Wikipedia earlier, how a lot of the early churches were made out of wood. Those could easily be burnt down and just reduced to rubble and no one ever knows they exist. People knew that if they wanted to make a building to last in the old way, they had to make it out of this stone and out of this. So this is absolutely essential for the creation of buildings that you want to last. Others that you don't, you easily destroyed. But look at this one. Again, another amazing tower. It goes back to the 1600s. Incredible. And this one I've seen before up close. The windows are amazing on it. It looks again like it was connected. They all seem like they have a different purpose, whether they're healing centers, frequency zones, communication towers. I wouldn't be surprised if they were ethereal kind of zones and things. Like that one looks like the top was removed and it looks mud flooded on a hill. So many of them are on a hill. All of them have basements. So many of them have the mud flood kind of going down. You know, this one could be possible. That one may have existed or have been built by people in our time. You know, the brick ones are a little bit different than these stone ones. These stone ones in buildings like this occur all over Ames and Easton as well. You'll find tons of buildings like that from the Ames fortune and whatnot. This is one in Medfield right near an art gallery that I go to. Very cool again. And as you see, all of these ones that are similar that aren't made of stone are always white. But when you go to Europe and you go to Russia and stuff, they've got so many colors on them. So I believe that is, again, another way of dumbing down the history of these things and making, look at that, amazing. Ancient. And look at even the top of that. But I think they dumb it down by painting it white, by getting rid of the immaculate colors that were in the past that you see in the Russian ones or in the Greek Orthodox churches. And that is, I think, again, something that happened at one point in time in America and for specific mind control-esque history destruction reasons. And I wouldn't be surprised. They are everywhere. Look at these circles and those circle windows. I bet you those had a amazing purpose as well, or something. Maybe the light shines from a certain way, that things on the, who knows, connections to eclipses and different things like that. We have no idea. But again, wow, what a massive collection. And if you look at some of them, they have the architectural thing. You'll see Keeley, you'll see similar names. There's a Sears company that does some. I don't know if they're connected to the other Sears, but Again, some are stone with other things built on, so maybe have an older foundation and then additions. A good amount of info is explained in the brief little Wikipedia things, but I'll include a list too. And this is one of the first churches. Look at that. How do they make that? And then in other places, they'll have a meeting house that's just made out of like planks of wood, like all in the same thing. Town Square, Plymouth, Massachusetts, one of the first areas. Look at that area. So nice. The buildings look so nice. It looks like it's almost of a Spanish nature, something you'd see in California. But nope, Plymouth Rock, where the whole narrative begins. The whole ridiculous narrative that just doesn't seem to make much sense anymore. And all these buildings, see, these ones are a little bit different. I had to include some of these because there's a lot of those ones too. I mainly wanted to show you guys all these ones, though, that are ridiculous. Look at that. Could be a school. That could be a Smithsonian. That could be anything. And a lot of these were claimed by universities as well. Salem, the Devil's Corner over there, but they've got some beautiful old school buildings. First Universalist Church, that one's not too cool, but again, it's there. It maybe had a different purpose. Who knows? Again, I'm just spitballing. That one on a hill, again on a mount. I bet you the foundations of so many of these, there are treasures lurking, and who knows how deep they go. Again, mud flood, bottom floors on the left side. You can see it. Amazing. And this one is really nuts. Religious facilities, 1846, 1852, the bell clearly missing, the gold clearly gone from the cross. Look at them, just constant. When you see them in a collection like this, it really is very impressive. That one looks like it goes way deeper as well and looks immensely old. I am not going to properly give credit to anyone in the modern era for doing these without any construction photos. And again, that one maybe. Certain ones are maybes, but these old stone ones, there's just no way. They almost look like they're from Nuremberg. And these, a lot of the foundations, boom, a lot of them are connected. This one I could picture having more color in the past, but again, getting tamed because of whatever Puritan reasons or who knows. This one looks like it had two massive spires on the top, repurposed, and just put a little cross on the top. Easy. Founded, again, all of these things, repurposed, Romanesque. They have so many descriptions of these things. Romanesque, Gothic, named after certain architects. This one is really beautiful too. These golden domes, a lot of them, I bet you had domes on them. The domes were removed and the metal scrapped in time. A lot of them they blame on the fires that happened around Boston. There's a few that were clear lost, but look at this meeting house. Again, that's an old meeting house. Check out the history for that one. Nuts. This one right here, what was this? It looks like it was a firehouse or something at one point, but all they do, Mission Chapel, put a little sign up. That is what so many of these do. This one is constructed in 1839. Look at the stones and the foundation. Something probably burnt off the top or they replaced something over time. But again, the foundations are strong and the foundations need to be, they should LiDAR below all of these churches just to see how low they go. Maybe there's rooms down there. Maybe there's treasure troves of rooms down there. Maybe the lost civilization that was here before made prepared preservational techniques under these buildings. Look at that. That could be anywhere. That one I've never seen, but I really want to find that one. That is beautiful. And again, probably so much tech missing from it. But if you were this civilization that was, in danger of being eradicated or gradually being eradicated or just immediately eradicated through some kind of chaos moment, you'd want to try to preserve some of these things. And with all this underground stuff, I wonder if the resetters were able to get all of it out, or if there's just still treasure troves trapped underneath these things. In Boston, there's so many hills. What could be lurking underneath those? And everywhere there are so many hills. And whenever you see one of these churches on a hill or on a filled in land or with different things around it, you have to question it. Because, again, we don't know. And the construction photos never show these things at the foundation. They always show them pretty much complete with some other things around. That building is phenomenal. Look at that. Boston. I had to show that one again because look at it. absolutely amazing and totally repurposed into a church where people just sit and listen to a speaker. That's all that happened. They play music as well, and it's spiritual and stuff like that. But that's all a church is. When these people were just starting out, like, did they really have enough money? Like, look at that. Do you really have enough money to just make like a castle for people to do in, or would you make it like a wooden house? You'd most likely just do a wooden house because you can't make money from a church. I mean, donations and stuff, yeah, and maybe the church is putting out some stuff in Massachusetts all the way from the Vatican, but again, the elaborateness, the intensity of the construction of some of these things, the stones, the manpower needed for all of these things. How do you lift those massive, and some of these, not this one, but like this? How do you create that? How are you lifting those things without cranes and with the horse and manpower alone? There's either a massive lie in the construction methods or whatever, but it's very suspicious when they never have construction photos of any of these things. Even if the ones in the early 1900s, they don't have construction photos from the start to the end. They should at least have a couple that could clearly end the narrative of having no construction photos, but it doesn't seem that way. Taunton, again, has a ton of stuff. This one is really old, but Taunton in general, so many churches, so many old buildings, so many clock towers, so many, Worcester, again, all over the place. Brockton, they are tons of these things in massive like stone causeways and different bridges for trains now and different methods of travel. But look at all these. This is a lot of effort and a lot of work. This one was built in 1844. It's just, again, boom. And how many times has that been kind of redone, and what was taken off of it? What did it originally look like? Was it founded? Look at this one's pretty interesting too. This is what I expect all of them to pretty much look like. This is the Quaker Meeting House. I would expect so many churches to do that, because why would you need the massive tech in the tower? I could see needing it for the bell, but for anything else that they've explained to us, it doesn't really seem accurate. There's just a lot of missing information all over the place. And again, I would put that towards a house. Certain ones I would say were someone really rich's house that then got turned into a church somehow. But that one, boom, that one looks like it goes deeper. It just looks like we're seeing the top of that. This one right here, built in the 1870s and 1880s, so they're just spending 20 years building these things. Not one photo that will show it. The more you look, this one was built in 1911 with medieval Tudor style. And again, in Europe, they would say this was built in X. This is the best. This is the mother of all. St. Anne's Shrine. I visited this place. The power here is unreal. This one is a guaranteed, repurposed, founded masterpiece of art and everything. And the inside is incredible. And they were in danger of destroying that thing. So many of these are in danger of destroying them. And if we can't get this one I visited too, again, these columns at the top of the columns was so elaborate, so amazing. You feel awe when you're in these things. And then you feel sad because it's almost like an old person, it's almost like an elderly person that's just getting eviscerated and crumbling to dust. And you're like, I know you have secrets. I know you have stories to tell, but I can't get them. I don't know them, but I want to help you be know your true power. That last one, amazing. Worcester, again, tons, really powerful steeples up there. I wonder if they had, again, a purpose. So much. Maybe even a divine connection, maybe an ethereal connection when everyone's electrifies and in the zone. Maybe something happens and then the energy expels there, creates light. Who knows? So many possibilities. I believe the world is magic, so the infinite potential is there. And again, with these buildings, there is something we are not being told. There is some power that they once had that has been lost due to nature or due to history and mind control of the enslaved people that are just searching around for some answers to the mysteries of their history. That one, again, I could see those towers being capped off and replaced at some point. This one, again, I could see that having a massive, some bit of tech at the top of that tower or some kind of zone or light or ethereal connection. This one as well. You never know how much it would go up, how much people took and robbed from this thing. What was in that middle? Were there jewels? Were there gold trim? everywhere. So much stuff. This one, boom, another beautiful circle mandala stone masterpiece. Gothic revival structure, built in 1880, brick Gothic revival and late Gothic revival styles. They're just naming stuff because they don't know. But another thought I had was, that this place was a true melting pot of spirituality. And maybe if these were all founded, maybe that's what we're seeing here, is a place that was, where all these different cultures from all around the world were making their buildings, and they were doing all this different style, but it was all before what they tell us. So all these different things were happening in a country that, during the times of pre-1700s, when the newspapers weren't around, so we don't know what happened. They again they can pick a time and they can erase everything before it with ease. So again, we just don't know. We don't know. The photographic evidence isn't there to prove that all these stories in Wikipedia are accurate. All these building stories are perfect. There's no way to prove that. So we have to shed a little doubt on it, because we know how much they lie and we know the cost of their lies. And this one is really amazing. Again, Fall River has a ton of incredible buildings all over the place. That one, I really love the shape of it in the top and the window style. That one is awesome. And again, they could have been monasteries, ancient monasteries. They could have been anything, little factories of some sort, or underground, centers for underground travel, if they're all connected in an underground realm, which is another whole thing that they most likely were. In the past, when you see places like New York and those cities with massive underground, Paris with the massive underground, they would connect these beautiful buildings. They're not going to connect a wooden shack to a wooden shack, but they would connect massive buildings and these things, churches, etc., cathedrals to cathedrals, because they clearly have undergrounds and they clearly are important. If they were saved by the resetters, they are very important. You have to keep that in mind. And again, these are works of art. They are masterful works of art. The molding on them, the everything, the trims, the interior, the exterior. They're not just boxes. They're all super detailed. Look at this. The congregation dates back to 1720. The building was in the early 1800s, I think. Again, amazing, Taunton, nuts. And a lot of these cities are not the most well-off cities. They are kind of struggling places. And it's a shame, because at one point when these buildings were in their prime and they were actually truly made, whenever that was, they must have been amazing. The town, the area around it must have been incredible. The people visiting it must have been in awe of these things. Fresh art all over the place. Like seeing this for the first time, walking into one of these things for the first time, must have been an incredible feeling. And now they're just kind of dwindling and going downward in quality, in care, and in so much. But again, there are hundreds of these stone masterpieces that anywhere else would be given much different dates, much different. Victorian Gothic, 1840 something. Look at that. This is all Massachusetts, a tiny, one of the tiniest states in the country. And wow. And think about it. If these, whenever you see a pile of rocks in the woods that's random, could it be one of these buildings? Whenever you come across a hill in the woods that's got like a bunch of rocks, a bunch of rubble, could it have been one of these? You find different things all over the place that look like rock, that are in the canyons and things that look like different rocks and towers. Could they be like this at one point? Patrick Keeley, there's our boy, the guy that did everything around Massachusetts, and they just pinned so much on that guy. And who knows, like Romanesque Revival Church, Second Empire, it's so many different things. That one looks like it's got some secrets underneath, as well as this one. And again, that tower, what's the need? You have a bell. What do you need all that stuff for? Just to sit and look out there, like to keep an eye out for archers or something? No idea. This one is, again, very interesting. Stone mastery. Buildings, again, if they were to be blown up, what would they look like? look like rubble everywhere. Stuff, oh, they blame it on the glaciers dropped that there. Yeah, sure. You guys blew up something. You blew up an ancient masters of this continent, and there is not a trace of it left. And everything you've built upon is, and told us about, is lies. And that is what I think the truth is. And I hope to go a little deeper into this year. I'm going to track down some of these, take some pictures, try to find some other details about the buildings that you don't really see from these easy pictures. But so if you all want to join me, if you're from Massachusetts and you know anything, chime in. If you want to join me on some of these excursions coming up, get in touch with me. Write a email to me at artofdino.com at gmail, or artofdino@gmail.com, and leave some comments below as well. And we'll end it with the Trinity Church showing this masterful piece of architecture of extreme mystery again, and just wonder what was and what was robbed from us and what we have lost, because it is immense, the amount of stuff that we do not know and that we should know, and that hopefully one day we will know. And again, what lies underneath all these things remains a total mystery, but archaeology needs to step it up and needs to start digging. We all do, but although we can't because it's illegal, some force, some agency or something with a desire to learn more about our ancient past needs to LiDAR or find the tech that can discover what's underneath these things and get to the bottom of it, find the true history. Maybe even the true history is buried under some of these things in a vault at the bottom of these buildings, because these people that built these were very smart. They knew what would stand the test of time. They knew they were probably going to be eradicated, which is why they needed to build stuff strong, and probably why they needed to hide important things. Hopefully they did, and hopefully we can find them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this collection from artofdino.com, and save Earth. Bless you all.